following is a paid program. The opinions expressed are not necessarily those of WNBU and Interbanks Media. Welcome to All Things Money with David Blain, a thoughtful and revealing discussion of actionable ideas and effective strategies to help you through the complex world of investing, taxes, and real estate. Now, with All Things Money, here's David Blain.
Hello and welcome to All Things Money. I'm your host for the show, David Blain. Thank you for joining us today on 94.1 FM WNBU, Cable TV 10 in New Bern, as well as on the internet, www.dlblain.com. In fact, our new website is launched there, so I'd encourage you to go over and check out our archives. We have all the archive copies of the TV and radio show for the past couple of years. We have a decade worth of articles and different things that I've written over the years. It's really a wealth of information. We built it to be an interactive website, sort of Web 2.0, with lots of ability for you to listen and watch and read to increase your knowledge. It's a really great site. It's very visually appealing. I didn't do it, but the design firm we had do it did an excellent job, and we're really proud of it. We just launched it last week. So hope you head on over there to dlblain.com. You can also fill out a contact us form if you have a question about the show or an idea, a topic you'd like to hear on the show. We've got a little form on there you can fill out, or you can always continue to give us a call. The number is 252-633-0107. And our direct email to the show is allthingsmoney@dlblain.com. That's allthingsmoney@dlblain.com. Okay, I thought we'd start off the show with a little bit of light news here. This came from the New York Times, talking further about the 1% in America. You know, when I hear about these things like the 1%, and a little bit later we're going to get into Mitt Romney's tax return, and when I hear things like that, I look at that and I say, okay, well, how can I do what they did, or how can I help my clients do what they did? I don't look at them and envy them and want to take what they have. I want to find out what they did, how they did it, and pass that knowledge on to someone else to help them succeed. And so that's what we're trying to do. We've been focusing on some of these issues, and ever since this 1%, 99% thing came out, there have been a lot of articles coming out about this type of thing, and some of it's quite fascinating. This one really took me by surprise. It was what the top 1% of earners majored in. Now remember, this is the top 1% earners. It doesn't necessarily mean net worth. It means what they earn on an annual basis. Somewhere in I believe the 1% is going to be around $390,000 or so and up. And anyway, so it turns out that biology majors make up nearly 7% of college graduates who live in households in the top 1%. That's never would have guessed that. Some of the other top majors were pre-med, economics, biochemistry, and zoology, believe it or not. And of course, biology we already touched on. Just totally surprising to me that those were the top majors. Was not in a separate analysis continuing on, it showed that 1 in 8 lawyers are in the top 1%. Unless they work for a Wall Street firm, then their chance increased to 1 in 3. Chief executives, about 1 in 5. But if their company produces medical supplies, it goes to 1 in 4, or drugs, it goes to 2 in 5. So the biology, biochemistry, medical fields, I mean, those are some very profitable fields if you're looking for something to get into. The demand for those folks is very high, and as we see here, the earnings are quite robust as well. In a companion piece, I saw this floating around a couple places from the AP. This is by a guy, Terrence Luce, who's talking about college majors that are useless. And this came from the National Association of Colleges and Employers 2012 Job Outlook Study. And they surveyed about 1,000 employers on their future hiring plans. And many areas of study, such as fashion design and performing arts, didn't even have any future hiring plans. Majors like business, 83%, people hiring were looking to recruit business majors. Close seconds were accounting, computer and information science majors, with nearly 60% employers planning to recruit them. So that was business majors, accounting, computer and information sciences. So I thought it would be kind of fun to look at the other end of the spectrum, the majors that nobody is looking for and nobody is hiring. So when your child or your grandson is going into college, you may want to put this in the back of your mind. So number one, and really I'm not sure these are in any particular order. We're just going to talk about 4 or 5 of them. Was agriculture. This really surprised me. Typical coursework, crops, plant diseases, things like that. It kind of surprised me. But the U.S. Labor Department is projecting 64,000 fewer jobs in that field over the next 7 years. Still, it seems like an important field, but there's just not any jobs in that area. Number 2 was fashion design. The same, a lot of young men and women sort of fancy themselves fashion designers, but there's really no market for that. It seems like, if you go out and make your own design or your own clothing line or something like that, but there's really not a lot of demand for hiring. The next one, unfortunately, the theater. We all enjoy going to a good theatrical production, but there's just not a lot of jobs out there. People just aren't hiring in those positions. I would think, too, that it's probably not a very high-paying job either. The next 2 kind of related to the agriculture. Once again, kind of surprising was animal sciences. This would be things like reproductive physiology, animal breeding, nutrition, things like that. Not necessarily veterinarians, but the sciences around animals. It seems to me that a lot of people have pets. They spend an inordinate amount of money on their pets, but once again, a surprise. They project that fewer than 5,000 jobs in this whole field will exist in 2018. There were 80,000 people awarded that degree between 2008 and 2009. The last one we want to talk about, horticulture. About 25,000 people measured in that, or majored in that between 2008 and 2009. Once again, just not a lot of demand for that. Things like crops, plant diseases, agricultural business, and economics. Very related to the first one on the list, which was agriculture. So a little bit of surprising there. Just kind of recap what the top 1% earners majored in was pre-med, economics, biochemistry, zoology, and biology. And then at the other end of the spectrum, majors that there's basically not a lot of future for: agriculture, fashion design, theater, animal sciences, and horticulture. So when you're looking where to put your college money, you may want to keep some of that in mind, where the jobs are. So anyway, that brings us to the end of our first segment, kind of a fun segment to start off with. When we come back, we'll get into the taxes of Mitt Romney. For All Things Money, I'm your host, David Blain.